Hello and welcome to the Fourth Down Fiasco. I am your host, Tanner Vinsky, and with me today is nobody. Not one other person. Danny and Jordan decided to go on vacation this week. Fortunately for them, I never rest, and I live and breathe the grind of an unpaid content creator. I am just simply a vessel to all of you for endless entertainment. We may not make any money for it, but that is my purpose in life, and that is all I know how to do. So, luckily for them, I can hold down for the fort. Our episode today is brought to you by BetStamp, the sports bookie of all sports bookies. Join with our sign up link and place a $5 bet. They got MGM, Caesars, Underdog, anything you can name, it's there. We are in full baseball swing and not much else. So if you got some baseball parlays, do not send them my way. I do not know jack shit about baseball, and I'm not going to be able to help you. So best of luck with that. If you earn money, though, give us a shout out. We always will take credit, even if I can't help you with your parlays. So our episode rundown for today is just a brief recap of the previous games. There was a couple of good ones this week, but there were a few blowouts. So we're going to kind of briefly go over those ones, and we're going to do our best to go over some of the really good games that we had this week, because there were two that were very interesting. Oh, yeah, two that were really close, and we're definitely going to talk about them a little bit more than the other ones. As well as our award winners, as always, and then pick'ems for next week. Unfortunately for you guys, though, it's my show today, so we'll be lucky if we get through this whole episode without me going on some weird tirade or maybe some political discussion. What people love to see in their football podcast, and any other sort of random shit that comes to my mind that has nothing to do with base football. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try my best, but. I am unchained. No longer can Danny and Jordan control me and my impulsive thoughts. So let's just dive straight into it. Let's get into our first game. As much as I want to start with the banger of the week with Munich and Madrid, I think we're going to go over them last, especially with it being my team and how fucking disappointed I am in the Madrid Bravos at this stage of the season. They should not be 4-3. That's all I'm going to say. I think they should be over the Munich Ravens, actually, at 6-1, but they have two games that they've completely blown on their own. So let's start with Ryan Fire and Raiders Tyrol. This was a game that I was very wrong about. I didn't have any thoughts too deep into what Ryan Fire and Raiders Tyrol was going to be, but the big thing that I had was that I thought the Ryan Fire were absolutely going to take this one without much struggle. And maybe that's very ignorant of me because Raiders Tyrol has been playing very well this year. But Ryan has just felt like the more complete roster. And I know that they've had their woes with losing, they've had their OC gone. They had their head coach gone. They recently cut Darius Nash, which was a pretty shitty decision by them, regardless of their personal thoughts on it. We won't get too much into it. I'm not going to air anybody's dirty laundry. But not a great move cutting Darius Nash. And I think you actually see it a lot in this game because I think if you had Darius Nash, Raiders probably don't score 21 points in the fourth quarter. So all I'm going to say. Regardless, though, I had more faith in Ryan. I know they've been having their struggles this year. They haven't looked like the Ryan Fire of the past. But, I mean, this is a blowout. And, yeah, you can say, okay, well, going into the fourth, it's a 9, or was it 12? It was 12-14 going into the fourth. Things were looking close, This is a competitive game, and then the breaks fell apart in the fourth quarter. But, I mean, this is a Ryan team that should not fall apart in the fourth quarter. And they just couldn't do anything against the Raiders Tyrol offense in the fourth quarter. And this wasn't a impressive, as we've seen with every Raiders Tyrol game, it wasn't an impressive passing offense. There wasn't anything they were going down the field with. They were just running down the throat of the Ryan Fire defense, which is something that we really don't see very often. I mean, this is a staunch Ryan Fire defense, and they're over here giving up 100 yards on the ground to freaking Halswanter, man. And no offense to Halswanter, he's had a great season. That's brutal. You can't be having that as Ryan. So just very unfortunate by the Ryan Fire. I still have faith in them as a roster this year. I just can't see the Ryan Fire being a sub 500 team, being a team that doesn't make it to the playoffs, being a team that, doesn't steal away a playoff game somewhere. But, their schedule's not looking too much better after this. And this is a tough loss. This is a loss they really needed. And for the flip side of that, shout out Raiders Tyrol, man. Raiders Tyrol might be cooking. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. They're the team that's kind of in that playoff bubble window, which I would consider at this point would be like Madrid, Rhine, Raiders. Who else we've been there? I mean, fuck it, you could throw Prague in there, even though I think Prague is not nearly as good as Raiders to roll. And same with like a Wrocław, who I don't even think is as good as Prague. But those three teams, and Frankfurt, I guess, is also somewhere in that conversation, even though Frankfurt has fallen off a cliff. Oh man, might have fallen with Frankfurt. But yeah, between the three teams that I feel more confident making a playoff berth, with the Rhine, Raiders, and Madrid, I actually feel least confident in the Raiders Tyrol to do much in the playoffs. I could see Rhine and I could see Madrid easily stealing a playoff game depending on the matchup that they get. Raiders Tyrol, I'm not sure about, but I mean, shit, they've been proving me wrong so far this season. They've continuously brought up big wins. I mean, this is a massive win for them. So we're really just going to see. I mean, if they do it, I mean, it's awesome. I would love to see it, but it is a tough pill to swallow for the Rhine Fire. And let's just jump straight into our first blowout of the week. And this was a game I didn't feel that Prague had much of a chance, but there was a lot of talk over the week leading up to this game that Prague might be able to walk away with an upset. They might be able to make this a close game. Well, Vienna heard everybody and decided, no, we are not going to have this be a close game. We are not going to have this be competitive. And they reminded everyone that the Vienna Vikings are in a much different tier than the Prague Lions. Again, like I said, phenomenal season from Prague. If Prague doesn't win another game this season, this is a massive win for Prague. Prague has completely turned around their franchise just by having a winning record 8 weeks deep into the ELF. I almost said NFL. Oops. 8 weeks deep into the ELF. So it's just a fascinating turnaround for them. And it's fascinating how well they've done against these top-end competition. But unfortunately for them, they ran into the grinder. They ran into the potent Vienna offense as well as their potent defense. They're potent on both sides of the field. And, they were getting cooked. Ben Holmes decided to go out there. There's been some talk that Ben Holmes hasn't been, himself this year. He's been having a little bit of decline. He made sure to show that this Prague Lions defense didn't mean shit. Put up 317 yards in the air, 4 tutties. I believe he had a good amount of rushing yards on the ground. No, he only had 2 for 5. Regardless, just massive game for Ben Holmes and just a massive bounce back. Well, I wouldn't even say bounce back. The Vienna Vikings have been doing great this season. They're 6-1, but it's one of those statement wins where, people have been doubting Vienna a lot. People have been overhyping Prague a little bit too much, I would say. And I'm actually a Prague guy. I've been a big Prague guy. I was even kind of hyping up Prague last year when they were dog shit. I said they were the kings of shit mountain. I thought they were the best of those terrible teams. And, in this season, I was very excited going in. I said preseason that Prague was going to win 6 games, and everybody thought I was a little insane. But here we are looking at Prague at 4 wins already, and they're probably going to pull it off. But I don't know. Thinking that this game was ever going to be competitive was giving way too much credit to this Prague defense. And it is a great defense, don't get me wrong. But this defense is not going to stop a Vikings offense that is this potent. There is just so many threats between Meyer and Torre and Beer Bomber and Reese Horn. And then you got Kari coming back in to run for that. Oh my God. It's so many different offensive weapons in Vienna. It's just ridiculous. And I don't know what everybody was thinking. I don't know why we thought that Prague was going to be able to pull this off, but Vienna reminds them that they're a top dog. And this further shows that Vienna is, at least in my eyes, the favorite to win it all this year. There's a couple of teams that are nipping at their heels. There's a couple of teams that I think if they run into, they're going to have a hard time in the playoffs. Shockingly, maybe I'm an idiot for this, but I still put Rhine in that category. But Rhine's a scary team for Vienna no matter what, just because of the history. I think, you catch Paris on a really good game or a really good day. Paris is scary. Stuttgart is always scary. Munich, shit, dude. Munich could beat Vienna if they really, if they played at their top level like they have been playing this season so far. But I mean, just looking at like from the roster top down, give me Vienna at this point. It's crazy to say, but I don't really see a lot of teams competing with Vienna. And this is just a win that further proves just how great of a roster they are and how scary they're going to be for the next couple of weeks. I'm going to skip over Munich and Madrid for the time being right now because, like I said, this is going to be the game I have a lot more thoughts about. So let's get into the three blowouts. Let's get into the unfortunate Sunday slate of games. So when we were looking at the Sunday slate of games, we said that there was going to be 4 blowouts, and we all took bets on who was going to be the biggest blowout. Actually, I think we didn't really look at Nordic and Hamburg. I think we were mostly looking at the first 3. But I can't remember what the other 2 guys picked. I think Danny said Wrocław was going to be the biggest blowout, and I think Jordan said Stuttgart was going to be the biggest blowout, but I could be talking my ass. It's been about a week since we recorded it. I can't remember everything. I don't have that great of a memory. I just keep that all for useless freaking NFL trivia. I don't need what my friends tell me in there at all. So regardless of that, I was the one that voted that Paris would be the biggest blowout against Helvetic, and I was right because I'm always right. And I think people just need to start getting used to that. And, the more that I continuously and here's the thing, I am just a prime specimen at finding shit in anything. Like whatever is dog shit, I am perfect at finding. Whether it's like a dog shit restaurant, dog shit food, dog shit teams, dog shit like sports to watch, dog shit events, dog shit movies, TV shows, video game, like whatever it is, like if I can even sense a little bit of like, oh, this is going to be terrible, I'm all over it. My nose is going crazy. I can sniff it out. And I looked at this week and it was just easy. Helvetic they were the most dog shit of the 3 teams. I mean, Helvetic had just recently gone over a massive roster reconstruction. I can't say why. They won't let me. They're going to take away my platform. They're going to whip me. They're going to beat me. You're never going to hear from me again if I say why. But I knew with what was happening that, I mean, Helvetic was a mess. And like I said, I can spot dog shit from a mile away. And 62-0 is about as brutal as it gets. It's not the 88-7 that Cologne faced earlier. Because I mean, Cologne's worse than Helvetic, but I knew that they at least actually didn't do shit against Wrocław. They put up a freaking safety. But that's pretty good for Cologne standards, all right. That's pretty good for Cologne to put up a safety against a team. You don't see that happen very often. But yeah, Helvetic is just, oh god, Helvetic is lucky that they didn't get the Fiasco Player of the Week last week. We just really didn't want to give it to another franchise. We were sick of doing it. And shockingly, they won't get it again this week. We're trying to move away from giving it to franchises because it feels a little bit like a cop-out, It's too easy to blame the entire team. And it's too easy to blame these just terrible teams that are winless and can't do anything all the time. And it's just boring. Nobody wants to do it anymore. Nobody wants to hear about it. Nobody wants to dogpile on about how bad Cologne and Helvetic and Bedavad are. It's whatever. These 3 teams are probably not going to be here next year. I don't think that's going to be a shock to anybody if all 3 of these teams are folded by next year. But it's just a continuation of dominance by the teams like Paris and Stuttgart. Stuttgart had a little bit of a rough start to their Verdivar game. It was a little interesting what was happening there. I mean, I think at the end of the first quarter, they were only up like 3-0, and then they finally turned on the burners. They started getting somewhere. But it was a little weird. Stuttgart's having a bit of a strange season. You would expect Stuttgart to 70-piece these guys. And it took them a while to get rolling. And yeah, they took their foot off the gas in the fourth quarter. They were kind of running out the clock. They were trying to get out of there. But it's a weird season from Stuttgart. I'm not going to take anything away from a blowout win against Vedavada. You can't say that Stuttgart is like, oh my God, spell the end for Stuttgart because they gave up 12 points to Vedavada in the third quarter. Like, who cares? I mean, sorry, somebody probably does care. That's rude of me to say. But personally, for me, I'm not going to take anything out of this. Same with like the Wrocław and the Paris win. Like, yeah, maybe we can give DJ Irons Big Dog of the Week again and, piss everybody off on the internet. It would be really funny. I'm half tempted. I am in control. I can do what I want. I am my own person, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. We already gave DJ his flowers once. We're not going to give him big dog. As much as it would make everybody mad, and it would be funny. But it's Cologne. Like what do you want me to say? Like, good job. You beat the shit out of Cologne for a second time this season. And for Paris, I mean, your offense is clicking. You're cooking, but you're cooking in a Helvetic defense that was completely revamped. So, I mean, from these 3 blowout wins, like what else are we supposed to get out of this? What else are we supposed to really say and, be like, oh, well, do we think Stuttgart or Paris is better at this point? This doesn't tell us anything. This doesn't tell us much of anything. So, I mean, congrats to them. Anytime you beat up your inferior opponent and you walk out with a win and you feel confident about it, it's always massive. It's always good. So you can't be too upset about that. But once again, 3 blowouts. If the murmurings are true that we're thinking of moving down to 12, there's nothing official yet. There's a little bit of murmurs. There's a little bit of thoughts. I think cutting out these 3 teams that I just bashed probably makes a lot more interesting of a league. We get a lot more of games like Munich and Madrid than we do the Vedevar Stuttgarts, right? And again, I keep teasing Munich and Madrid. We're going to get there, but I'm going to go over Nordic and Hamburg first. Fucking shocking game. Like, just absolutely baffling. I mean, Nordic didn't deserve to win this game. I'm sorry. Like, I am sorry to the entire Nordic roster. I've been a little bit of a Nordic hater this year, not on purpose, just because I kind of hyperfixate on things. It's something I gotta work on hyperfixating on things that are just, again, like I said, just whenever I see a mess of something, I'm like, I'm seeing the walls crumbling. I just hyper focus on it. And with Nordic, this is the first sign of that foundation crumbling a little bit. I mean, this is a bad Hamburg team. I have said a lot of terrible things about this Hamburg roster. I don't like this Hamburg roster. I think they have done very poorly this year, and there's been some organizational woes that have led to that. And I got to be careful with what I'm saying. I don't hate like this Hamburg team because I think the players are playing poorly. I dislike this Hamburg team because I think the organization is not doing right by their players, and they're not putting up a competitive roster, and they're a freaking German roster. Like they are essentially playing. They get to play checkers while everybody else gets to play chess. Like, it is so much easier for them to compete and do better and do well than a lot of these rosters. Like, yes, Nordic gets multiple countries. They get Denmark and they get Sweden. Like, that's really nice. That's cool. But they still had to use E rosters, or they still had to use an E spot on Glenn Tunga. They still had to use their A spot on Jadrian Clark, right? Like, they still had to make it work. Whereas Hamburg, like, they're a German roster. They get the best homegrown talent in the ELF, them and the Austrian teams. They just have an inherent advantage to the rest of the teams in the ELF. I mean, the talent pool that you get in Germany compared to Spain is night and day, and they're still just not able to pull it off. And this used to be a great franchise. Hamburg used to be in the championship games. They didn't win one, but I think they went to 2 back-to-back. I don't have anybody here to fact check me, so I'm just going to talk out of my ass and pretend that's the truth. And then I don't have to talk about it this one. When I asked out of this one, because I know that Glenn Tunga used to be there, and they weren't able to keep him. These are just the things that happen when you're not operating properly as a franchise, and it's just unfortunate to see. But on top of everything bad that I've said about Hamburg, like, holy shit, you guys almost beat the Nordic Storm. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, this was only a 6-point loss, and you had an opportunity to go down and win it? What are we doing, Nordic? What are we doing? Like, this Hamburg offense isn't anything special. I mean, Leon doesn't even throw for a touchdown. I mean, his average yard of completion is 7.3, which isn't terrible, but it's not anything amazing. Average yards for Quay is, or Quay, however you say his name. Apologies to Quay or Kai or however it is. I probably should have done a little bit of better journalism and looked up how to pronounce your name instead of pretending that I would have Danny and Jordan here to help me out, which they weren't. Again, like I said, they like to leave from the grind where I have embraced the grind. So, regardless of Quay, I mean, Jesus, I got to stop saying his name in case I keep butchering it. But, I mean, a 4.7 yard average is great. It's good, but it's nothing that like completely gashes the defense. But Nordic just weren't able to get stops. They were able to get stops. I mean, they only put up 21 points. But regardless of it, is like the defense should have done better against this Hamburg offense, right? And the Nordic offense should have cooked this Hamburg defense. And yet, like the Hamburg defense isn't terrible by any means. We've said it preseason that there are players on this roster that are pretty good. And like I said, I mean, they got Kyle Kitchens, they got Nazir Streeter, like they got great A imports. They're building up pretty good in the along the trenches. Like this is really not that bad of a Hamburg defense, but Nordic has such a potent offense that they should have been able to cook them a lot better than this. Now, guarantee our boy Bo, I mean, good Lord, was he cooking. He made sure that whatever he was getting against the Hamburg defense was cookies. I mean, it was easy. And Jadrian Clark still played a phenomenal game. I mean, he went 4-1 on touchdown interception ratio, about 300 yards passing. Like, you can't complain about that. But it's just the fact that Hamburg was able to stick in on this one is just shocking to me. And even though Nordic is still undefeated, I'm looking at the Nordic team and I'm bumping them down in the power rankings. I mean, you can't let this be this close against Hamburg and still get to claim that you're the best roster in the ELF. Vienna wouldn't have had this being a close game. People may try to gaslight me and they'd be like, well, actually, Vienna probably would have. No, I know my truths. I know what's happening. Vienna wouldn't have had these struggles. Paris, I don't think, would have had these struggles. I think they would have done much better against this roster. So really ill tidings for Nordic. I'm not sure what we're going to see from them for the rest of the season. My preseason hot take was that the Rhine Fire were going to make it further in the playoffs than the Nordic Storm. And, I shouldn't really be bragging too much and being like, look what I'm telling you, when the freaking Rhine Fire are 4-3 and Nordic Storm are 6-0 and Rhine Fire might not make the playoffs. But I still stand by it. I still think I can see Nordic winning a playoff game. I don't see them winning two. And even though, yes, they have Jadrian Clark, who is, I'm not even going to say arguably, probably is just the best quarterback in the ELF, just from accolades entirely. I mean, he's just got the most experience. He's the veteran. He knows what he's doing. And yeah, saying, okay, yeah, that guy is going to lose in the second round of the playoffs is probably a bit of a hot take and probably stupid. But it's a new franchise. I think there's growing pains. I think we're going to see growing pains in the playoffs. And I think Ryan's going to just work past the growing pains. They're experiencing the growing pains in the regular season. And I think that's where you want them to happen. I think you want your regular season to kind of be a little bit more scuffed. You don't want everything to be flawless. You want to work out your kinks. You want to see a little bit of issues. Whereas, if you see them in the playoffs, I mean, you lose. That's just the simple fact of it, is if you experience a mistake in the playoffs, it's over. All right, enough teasing. Let's get into the Munich Ravens and Madrid Bravos. I've been yapping far enough already. I'm a professional yapper. So internet's not going to pull up the box score for me. I don't need the box score. I had to sit there and watch this dog shit game. So freaking Madrid is just in this stage where they're honestly just being held back by coaching. And I'm sorry to say, but this Madrid offense is so talented, and they're put into positions to, and this is, I guess Athena saw the neighbors. I'm going to close this door real quick. But they get put into these positions, right? They get put into these positions to win. They're in a good spot. And the end of this game is just the most frustrating shit I have ever seen in my life. Actually, it's not the most frustrating shit I've ever seen in my life. I'm over-exaggerating. Wow, crazy, right? But they had this shit, dude. They were cooking the Munich Ravens defense. They were going down the field. They were about 15 yards out. Again, I might be talking on my ass, but I'm pretty sure it was about 15 yards out from the end zone. And they decide when they're that close to the end of the when they're that close to the end zone, they're ready to, push this game away. They decide to kick it. I can't comprehend it. I mean, this offense is so potent. It is so good. And yeah, like, okay, go to overtime. It's only like a 25, 30-yard field goal. It's really not that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, no, you're right. It shouldn't be a big deal. It should be easy to make the 25, 30-yard field goal. But the kickers in the ELF can't do it. And it's not necessarily their fault. I mean, kicking a football it's a different mechanic than playing soccer or any other sport that would be popular in Europe, right? Like it's inherently different. But I mean, you got to know your kicker can't make the kick. Like you got to know that they're not going to consistently make that, and you just got to take the win. Like this is a roster that was coming into this game 5-1. This was one of the best rosters in the ELF. You had to know this was a must-win win for your team in order to have playoff hopes, in order to go forward. Like this was it. Like you needed this win. Take the freaking win. Go for it. If you go for it and whatever happens in the end zone, you take a sack, someone drops a ball, you throw an interception, you make the wrong read, whatever. At least you're fucking putting Munich on ice. You're putting the pressure on them. But your defense wasn't stopping shit. They weren't stopping shit. So why would you want to go to overtime? Why would you continuously want your defense gashed? Why would you not want to just end this game and steal this away from Munich? It's ridiculous. It's just a baffling decision. And it wasn't even close. Like, I can't stop iterating how not close the field goal was. I mean, shit, if the field goal post was the entire length of the end zone, there's a chance he still misses it. Like, that's how bad it was. And if you know that your kicker's in that position, don't rely on them to win the game. You gotta, it's ridiculous. I don't know. This is, again, one of those things where I just look at it. Madrid's not making the playoff because of this. They're not going to make it. I have so little faith that Madrid's going to make it to the playoffs because they can't beat these rosters because of self-inflicted wounds. And yes, their defense is terrible, but we've seen their offense overcome the defense time and time again just for their coaching to make terrible decisions to not let them win. And if that's the case, you're just not going to, like, I'm sorry, you're just not going to make it. You're just not that guy. Like, you're just not that team. I'm sorry, but you're not that team. In terms of Munich, they are those guys. Munich are fucking dogs. I mean, Tabor time is alive and well. I mean, we saw Malik Stanley fucking demolish this defense. Just absolutely put them on ice. Horrible defensive, but just horrible defensive play by the Madrid Bravos once again, but just phenomenal offense by the Munich Ravens. I mean, this is a Munich team that's scary. They're a team that's a dark horse to win it all, to be completely honest. Like, I would not be shocked if we're sitting there at the end of the season like, okay, Munich's got a chip. Munich and Paris, those are my two dark horses. Those are two teams that I don't think are the exact top dogs, but I would not be shocked at all to see them walk away with W's by the end of the season. All right, let's get into the award winners. So our first award, as we're talking about Munich and Madrid, this is going to be the big dog of the week. This is our least popular of our awards. People don't care about who does well. They don't give a shit. That's not fun. That's not entertaining. They want to see the terrible things that happen. They want all the bad things that happen in the world, and they want all the negativity. So we're beyond that. I don't know why I'm saying that. I don't know what I'm doing. Regardless, Malik Stanley had a great game. I mean, 10 receptions, 169 yards, 1 rush for 23 yards, 2 touchdowns. You got a game winner. Just absolute dog. Just massive performance by the boy. And Malik Stanley has had a quietly good season. Actually, I don't know how quiet it's been. I think a lot of people have realized how good Malik Stanley is, but he's been cooking. I mean, we have seen so much go on with Malik Stanley. I mean, he's third in the receiving yards list right now. He's at 677. Still Crookshank fucking putting his balls all over everybody else. But Malik Stanley has done great. He's done phenomenal. So I just can't think of anybody else that there was actually a couple of discussions for people for Big Dog. We talked about Ben Holmes. We talked about his quarterback Tabor time, who also had a fucking phenomenal game. But I mean, Malik Stanley was making it easy for Tabor, getting those 10 catches. I mean, it's just, he was all over it. He was all over it. And as much as we'd love to give it to Russell Tabor, he'll get one of these weeks. I'm sure he will. He's playing out of his fucking mind, so he'll get one eventually. But I mean, when you have your receiver go this off, like, I don't think he's going to be too offended to see that Malik got this award. And I'm not sure Malik will not be on this list again. I mean, Malik has had a great season, absolutely great. Moving on to the Unsung Hero Award, we got Precious Ogbegovian, Ogbevin. I'm not sure how to exactly pronounce his last name, so apologies for that. Once again, I am a cracker, so I mispronounce things all the time. So with Precious here, he got 16 tackles on the game, just all over, just completely dominant on the Rhein Fire. And again, this is not that bad of a Rhein Fire offense, so it is pretty impressive to see Precious put up these stats. I mean, and he's a big reason they won. He was making it very hard for that Rhein Fire offense to get anything done. He was all over the field. And again, like I said, we don't show a lot of love to defense. Not a lot of people love to show love to defense. And you look at that Rhein Fire Raiders Tyrol game, I think Precious is one of the biggest reasons why Tyrol walks away with that W. I don't think they get it if he doesn't get that many tackles on that game. And I mean, he was just all over them. There was nothing that they could do. So shout out Tyrol. Shout out Tyrol once again. I mean, I keep disrespecting them, but they keep proving me wrong. They keep getting these big wins, and it is a sneaky good defense. Again, when we talk about the best defenses in the league, we don't bring up the Tyrol Raiders, but I mean, that is a great defensive front. And I would argue Precious Ogbevan is one of the best players on that defense, and he proved it today. And then let's get into the most exciting award. Let's get into the award that everybody likes to talk about, everybody likes to see. They like to know who is the worst of the worst. And like I said earlier, I am perfect at analyzing terrible performances in terrible situations. And unfortunately for the beautiful Prague Lions, the darling boys of the NFL, they got shut out. They got shut out bad. It wasn't close. And unfortunately for them, a lot of that has to do with their quarterback, Javarian Smith. Javarian Smith went 9 for 19 for 86 yards, didn't get a touchdown, had 2 interceptions, took 3 sacks. Just unfortunate game all around for him. And I don't think he's the sole reason why Prague lost. I'll be completely honest. I think there's a lot of things going really wrong for Prague. They weren't really able to get much of a running game going at all. Willie Patterson had a hard time getting open against this staunch Rhine defense or Vienna defense. Javarian also missed a couple of throws to him through the game, so it's not entirely his fault. And then the defense just wasn't up to par. But, I mean, it's hard to not be big dog when you have more incompletions than completions. You pass for under 100 yards. You don't get a tutty. You get 2 ints. And, yeah, now we're not going to say all 3 of those sacks were his fault, but still. It's just nothing was happening in that passing offense game, and it led them to lose. So, unfortunate for the Prague Lions, but their Cinderella story is probably starting to come to a close. They still got an easy schedule going forward, though, so we're probably going to see them still in the playoff discussion. But again, it's just another one of those things that shows that Prague's probably not up there with the rest of the guys in the ALF, unfortunately. So let's wrap this bitch up with some pick'ems. I'm going to pull up Danny and Jordan's pick'ems real quick so that way I can tell y'all what they picked as well, since they don't want to support me. Let's see. All right, let's start off with Munich and Helvetic. This is very easy for the 3 guys. We all agreed that it's going to be Munich. I have talked a lot of shit about Helvetic already this episode. I have talked a lot of praise about Munich already this episode. Shockingly, that creates a team that's going to be 7-1 and a team that's going to be winless. So, unfortunately for Helvetic, they are continuing racking up losses, and I don't know if they're going to get a win this season, unfortunately. I really don't think they will. Next game we go into Stuttgart and Frankfurt, which, if this happened 4 weeks ago, probably would have been very fascinating. Would have been a really interesting toss-up. Frankfurt's on the decline, though. Stuttgart, again, they're falling behind. They're not at the top like they were comfortably all last season. They're going to need this win. They're going to take this win. And again, my co-host agree with me. All right, we get into Vedevar and Madrid. do I need to say more? Madrid is going to cook Vedafar. And if they don't, kill me. That's all I'm gonna say. Just end it. I don't wanna watch the sport anymore. That's our Saturday games. I don't think any of them are going to be particularly close. I think Frankfurt could put up a fight. I'm hoping Frankfurt puts up a fight. I would like to see Frankfurt kind of bounce back a little bit. But the other two games are not going to be much of a competition. Now we get into the Sunday games. And the Sunday games are where it gets real interesting. And normally you would look at a Vienna team and you would say, oh, all of Fourth Down Fiasco is going to agree. But I am a madman. I am a psychopath. And I think with this being in Paris, and I think with how good Paris has been this season, I think they are going to upset Vienna. Yes, I am being completely serious. I am not smoking crack. I am a sober man, unfortunately. But I am a sober man, and I am going with Paris. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just a vibes thing. Again, fuck sports analysis. Fuck any sort of statistical, evidence, anything that brings about good analysts. I go based on vibes, and sometimes the vibes are just right. And in this situation, Paris's vibes are looking good. They've had a great season. They've upset some really good teams so far. They're playing at home, and they just walked away from one of the easiest wins of their entire schedule. Vienna also didn't really have to work too hard against theirs, to be fair. But I think Paris is going to shock the world. Danny and Jordan disagree. They think Vienna is going to do this. Me and Danny are tied in pick'ems. I need to pass him. I need to go ahead and I need to get some room on him. So I'm going to pick Paris. And I'm probably going to regret it. I'm probably going to fall behind at the pick'ems. But at least I'm not a coward. At least I'm taking risks. Going to our next game, which is going to be freaking terrible. By the way, Vienna-Paris, going to be a great game. It's going to be a lot of fun. Regardless of how it goes down, I still think this should be competitive. It should be close. You're really pushing the immovable object and unstoppable force. You got the unstoppable force of the Vienna Vikings offense and the immovable object, the Paris Musketeers defense. Or really kind of see who's going to go toe-to-toe and who's going to do better. And I think Paris's defense is gonna shock the world. I think they're gonna put together some packages. They're gonna put together some disguised blitz, and I think it's gonna throw off the Vienna offense. And I think it's gonna look pretty spicy. And what is not gonna look spicy is when Berlin fucking 50, 60, 70 pieces Cologne. Cologne will probably put up some points because Berlin still sucks too. Unfortunate for Berlin, but they do, and they're also pretty cheap. And their owner is complaining about fans not showing up, but your team is ass. I'm sorry. That's just what happens. And I think they're still going to just dominate the hell out of Cologne. It's not going to be pretty. And all three of us agree. We don't think it's going to be pretty. Now, this game is going to be very interesting. This is the Rhine Fire versus the Nordic Storm. I have to find Jordan's pick because I don't know if he ended up saying what he wanted to do. Okay, no, he's taking Nordic over Ryan. So I'm going to be alone again. And I'm going to really fall behind the pick'ems. And I think Jordan might catch me because of this. But if not, then I'm going to look like a genius. And that's what I want out of all this, to be honest. I just want to look like the smartest man in the room. And, like I said, this is my life. I'm chained in this room. I'm not allowed to leave. Danny and Jordan tell me to make content. They tell me to be available at this time. I'm not allowed to have a life. I'm not allowed to do anything. I'm stuck here, and I have to record, or they're gonna whip and abuse me. And so, I gotta give the talking points, and the talking points for this is gonna be that I took Paris and Rhine over Vienna and Nordic, who have a combined 1 loss between the two teams. Well, they're about to have a combined 3. Trust me on that. Again, is it a good decision? Is it a smart decision? Is it all based on vibes? Yeah, it is all based on vibes, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. I'm actually proud of that, to be honest. I'm not good with it. I'm proud of it. But Nordic had a terrible game against Hamburg. They were caught off guard. They were not looking good. Ryan just had a demoralizing defeat against the Tyrol Raiders. I think Ryan's going to be pissed, and I think they know if they drop this game, they're not looking at a playoff spot. And I think Nordic needs to get knocked down a peg, and I think this is going to be the team that's going to do it. And, I think the Ryan offense is going to have a bit of a bounce back. I think the Nordic, the Nordic team is still, is probably still a better defense than the Tyrol team, but I don't think they're that much better of a defense. I really don't. So I'd like to see Ryan come in here and shock the world. And then to finish it off, we're finishing off with the 4-3 Eastern Conference teams. We got the Wrocław Panthers going to the Prague Lions. This is going to be no, it's not going to be close. I'm sorry. I was trying to talk myself into it. I was thinking, we got the 4-3 rosters. This could be spicy, could be fun. It's in Prague. I just don't think Prague's going to take this, and especially after getting booty smacked, just smacked to all hell by the Vienna Vikings. I think they're going to be pissed against the Wrocław Panthers. I think they're going to take it out on them. And unfortunately, I think that's going to get rid of Wrocław's chances of making the playoffs. Props to them for sticking around this long. I didn't think they would be looking at 4-3 this deep into the season. I mean, same could be true for Prague. But I think Prague is going to walk away looking pretty good out of this game. I think it's not going to be particularly close. I think they're going to win by at least 2 touchdowns. I just trust that Prague Lions defense, and I think they're going to make it hard for DJ Irons. Like I said, that's really what it's going to come down to. And I think Javarian Smith he's just going to play better. I mean, he had a terrible game. People bounce back. Like I said, we're dealing with humans here. We're dealing with people who have lives and have emotions, and I think the emotions are going to run high for Prague after that loss. After that extreme loss, Wrocław might be cruising a little bit because they got to beat up on an easy Cologne team. So give me Prague, and everybody else is taking Prague as well. So a lot of getting mixed up here in the pick'ems. We're going to look at the end of the season, and we're going to say, oh man, or not the end of the season, end of this week, and we're going to say, oh man, Tanner's pretty smart. Tanner's ahead of Danny by 2 games, and it's because I'm not a coward. That's all I'm going to say. All I'm going to say on that. So that about wraps us up. Once again, thank you to everyone who is tuned in and supports our show. Make sure to follow us across all of our social media platforms. See, we're at the point where I've been yapping for, where are we at now? I've been yapping for 42 minutes. Are you serious? I've been here for 42 minutes talking to myself like a madman in my room with no other host, and I've been able to pull this off, and I've had very little slip-ups. I'm getting pretty close to revealing that I'm actually a lab-made man. And, I was made in Wuhan, China, and that's why I spout Maoist ideas all the time. And you guys haven't caught on. You guys haven't caught on to it yet, but eventually you will. Eventually the sleeper agent will take over, and no longer will I be doing football content. I will be promoting propaganda. Regardless of that, though, I've done a great job so far, and I hope you all say I've done a great job as well. And it's not an opinion. I just have done a great job. So thank you for letting me know that I have. Regardless of though, make sure to follow us across all social media platforms. We are 4thdown_pod on Twitter, 4thdown Fiasco on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. And we really do appreciate all of the recent support we have received on Instagram specifically. Like I said, we don't really use a lot of our other platforms as much as we used to. We still try to keep up on Twitter as much as we can, but we've kind of let our YouTube and our TikTok kind of fall apart a little bit. Like I said, once I get a more free time, because believe it or not, I am actually not chained into this room and forced to make content. If I was, actually, it'd probably be a lot better for us because we'd have a lot more interesting content, and I'd have a lot better ideas than when I'm not fucking brain dead coming off work. But eventually we are going to work on our YouTube and our TikTok. I really do want us to get some more TikTok videos out, trying to just branch out our content a little bit. We love the ELF, and we want to give you guys more stuff to watch during the week. We want you guys to have more content from us. We really appreciate you guys as fans, so we want to do everything we can. And our YouTube should be cooking once we get some more interviews going out. We got a couple of really good ideas for some YouTube videos. I am what am I, mid-20s now? Yeah, I guess I'm 26, so it's mid-20s. I'm a mid-20s white man. It's my destiny to write video essays, So I got to get some video essays out for y'all. That's just the reality of the modern world, of the kind of fringe millennial Gen Z era. I mean, all of us sit down and make YouTube essays. I mean, that's really all we can do. That's the only thing that white men can do in this day and age. So I got to follow my destiny. I have to make sure to make those YouTube video essays for y'all, and we'll get there eventually. And I think they're going to be really good when we get there. So make sure to please subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure to follow our TikTok. We will be more active there. But in the meantime, really do continue to show us the love that we have received. Continue to show support and love, especially like we have received in the past few months on Instagram. We have hit 421 followers. And I think when we started this season of the ELF, we were in the low 200s, maybe high 100s. So, I mean, we've practically doubled our follower count on Instagram, and that's really all due to you guys. And so we really appreciate that. Make sure to tell everybody about us still. Please, Let them check out that we are the greatest football podcast on the internet. Let them know how good our takes are. Let them know that, we're going to keep grinding. We're going to keep doing this. And we'd love to have you guys for the journey. We'd love for you guys to be able to brag and be like, holy shit, we were one of the first 500 followers of Fourth Down Fiasco, and now they got 5 million subs and 5 million followers. And you'd be like, yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the guy that knew that Fourth Down Fiasco was going to be the greatest thing of all time. So it means the world to us. As always, hugs and kisses. Good night.